I guess we always grew up by giving away our information and our digital identities kind of for free. I think Yatsu called it digital colonialism. The companies took our data and now they sell it back to us in many ways, shapes, and forms, and we never took ownership of it. It's almost like we never recognized as humans that it was our right to have that information. I'm sure I've got countless avatars back on my Atari games and Castle Wolfenstein on my Apple II Plus and all of these things, and even my Facebook account, right? That has my identity and information, but I'll never own it or extract value from that. Do you think part of this is a paradigm shift where you have to educate humans that we actually deserve to own our own value and information, and we should have the right to take this with us and move this around to different places?
I think so. I do think it's not because we didn't thought it was an issue before, or we didn't even think it was possible because technology did not allow it before, that we should be happy with that situation. Let me take a concrete example. If I buy this pen into a store and I can only use this pen at the store I bought it, that's nonsense. Why? Who said I couldn't use this pen on any piece of paper, anywhere, at home, at school, etc.? Well, that's how limited technology was before. You could only use the digital asset that you spent with real money into the places, games, platform where you acquired them. And the operator of those platforms, the developer, were restricting the possibility of users to exchange them with each other, sell it on marketplaces, or even further, because they want to lock value and lock user in. That's how their business model has been designed, to let their users go somewhere else. Now, imagine growing into Web3, growing into this, like anything I described is now possible. You can take your identity, your asset anywhere else, sell them, etc. How in the world would you go back to a place where you can't do that? You feel like, oh, now you're taking out my right to do so. And that's why I think the world is going and ultimately toward Web3. And anyone who is born with Web3 in 10 years, no way they're going to go back into Web2. Also, there's a whole business model in Web2. You said companies collect my data and use that data to sell to advertisers, so they try to promote me more application, more apps to download or product to buy, etc. It's a way to think the web in a very transactional manner. First of all, so it's not great in terms of user experience. We just try to optimize for people to buy, consume, rather to people have experience, socialize, have fun, connect better. So we lost a bit of that essence, but it became really worse, typically for game developers who are essentially implementing ads. Developers just hate implementing all the solution, SDK, etc. for ads. Users hate ads. They don't like to spend time or watch them. Still, that was the only model that helped developers to monetize when users didn't spend the 1 to 3% conversion on in-app purchase. And how is it possible? Is it possible because the developers allowed companies like Facebook, Google, etc., to collect the data from their users so they can then target them, sell back to the developer through advertising, the possibility for them to target users, to bring users to their business model. So even at the end of the day, developers they think they were earning 70% of the revenue they generate, but if they spend 50, 80% back into user acquisition to get new users, they are left with very little. So in the end, nobody win, nobody is really happy about that model, but because it was the only available, nobody really complained. I think, again, we can do much better, and that's what Web3, which is more user-centric and community-driven, which is rewarding users for the values they bring into a network at all the levels, from the layer protocol to the dApps protocol now, and in Metaverse even more specifically. We're building something much more better, and where the incentives are aligned across all parties by sharing it through the right orders.
Yeah, and you make a great point, Sebastian. It actually changes the whole experience for someone when they then come online, because we're all now so conditioned, right, to being sold to and converted by, 4 major companies that create marketplaces and take 30 to 40 to 50% out of each trade. Maybe I'm talking about YouTube and Google and Facebook and Amazon, who again have created these amazing companies, but they're the middlemen on all these transactions and they take a big chunk out, which you're right, turns us into consumers. And the whole mentality is a consumption mentality, and it's never optimized for, like you said, fun and experience, and then value creation and peer-to-peer transactions. So and again, we kind of see this with crypto assets, this massive growth, which some call between 60 to 120% year on year, is enabled, many say, because of this peer-to-peer sharing of value and partaking in the value of the ultimate network. So it's kind of exciting to see. I mean, this really feels like a revolution in gaming, and something that'll actually change gaming itself because of the business model. Is that what you see as well?
I think essentially it is exactly what I'm saying. I'm seeing much deeper connections between the creator of content and their fan. So I will never talk about client or consumer in the metaverse. I think that term is really wrong. It's already thinking into a mindset where you want to sell something to someone. There's a better relation between brands and fans, or creators and their fans, thanks to the metaverse and thanks to NFTs that bring community of holders together into a space where they can be more creative, they can exchange their culture, their lifetime, they are bound through the ownership of the common asset. And we're going back to the idea of what was the web was originally meant to be, a place where you meet new people, you make new interesting connections, and you no longer value just having million and million of followers, which are just passively watching or liking, but you have few hundred, few thousand people highly engaged who are creatively contributing with you. And everyone who contributes to that growth of your network, to that value, to that exchange, to this form of experience as being part of a community, specifically into a metaverse one, everyone is fairly rewarded for that. And even to be more precise, when I say fairly, actually creators who put content for sale, they get back 100% of the value of the content they sell. That's how it should be.